Greetings. Today I want to talk about why people fail. It's 2017, and I always want to be progressive with anything that I post on the internet. And I think with the new year, or I'm going to say I feel with the new year, it's very important that we started off with on the right foot and in the right state of mind. So I'm going to talk about why people fail. And you can read up on your own studies on why people fail, but you'll find, I would say, out of these 10 reasons I'm going to state, you might see 5 to about 7 of these reasons appear on different lists. Sometimes not in the same order, sometimes not even worded the same way, but when you narrow it down, you find that these are consistent reasons why people fail. Number one, you don't believe it. It's hard to convince someone else to believe in you or your idea when you don't believe it. If you're into sales, anyone knows that in sales, a good salesperson has to believe in what they're saying. They themselves may not even believe in the product or the service they're selling, but they believe in their ability to persuade the buyer or to persuade the listener to give them their business. So you know the confidence can work different ways. It could be the belief in oneself or the belief in the service or product or the idea that you're selling, or a combination of all of them. But if you don't believe it, it's hard to get anyone else to believe it. So, and you find a lot of people that want to be famous or they want to be entrepreneurs or they have these business ideas. And I'm going to say in my own experience, I find, I know when I used to intern at Atlantic Records, you had a lot of artists that I would run into once they knew I worked at Atlantic Records. They'd want to get signed. They'd want to get opportunities. But when you ask them, did they spend their own money to go into a studio and record a decent piece to present, they'd always say, "Oh, I don't have the money. Why can you do it?" For me, right away, when you have someone that does that, if you're not willing to invest in yourself, that tells me you don't believe in yourself enough. That may not be the best example I can use, but that's the one right now that comes to mind. Number two, others convinced you to do something else. A lot of times you find, and I'm not putting anyone's culture down, but I find that in a lot of sometimes Asian and Indian families, parents may convince their children to pursue something that they're not interested in. That creates depression when you're doing something that you know you don't want to do, that you don't enjoy doing. Or just even in our own cult, in our own society, you may have someone, for instance, people will tell someone that's a good singer all the time, you should be on stage, you should make records, you should be in the music business, you should sing. And someone may pursue this, and deep down inside, that's probably not what they want to do. They just like to sing. But to do it professionally may not be their thing. Maybe they want to be a doctor. Maybe they want to be an engineer. But they don't pursue their dreams because others convince them that that's not their calling, that something else is. And of course, it leads to failure. Failure in different ways. It could be failure at what they convince you to go after, or failure at your own thing because you've never tried for your own goals and your own ideas because you're pursuing something that someone else convinced you that's what you should be doing. Number three is fear of change. We complain all the time when we don't like our conditions, but very few people take action. People fear change. You can be in an abusive relationship, and it doesn't have to be physical. It could just be a toxic relationship where you two are just not on the same page. The communication is bad. It brings you down morally, spiritually. But to step outside of that and pursue something else, if this is all you know, sometimes some people feel, even if they don't like the situation, it's all they know. And to change it scares them. So they go through life, they wind up living a mediocre life, an unfulfilling life because of their fear of change. Sometimes people fear success. Someone may say they want success. They may say, "Hey, I want to travel the world. I want to do this. I want to do that." Then when those opportunities come, they get scared. Um, a good example I can use for that is um, myself, years ago when I was younger, I wanted to be in the entertainment business. So I did a demo with a bunch of instrumentals, and I sent it into Bad Boy. And they called me and they said they liked what they heard, the 4 songs, but they needed to hear more. So they wanted me to send them more material. I never followed through. I just realized at that point, you know what? I don't really want to do that. Or maybe there was a voice in the back of my head because that was a while ago. I feared change. I feared liked my life hanging out and just coming and going as I pleased. And I was young and I wanted to do things that a young person did. I didn't want that responsibility that I thought I wanted. I didn't want that burden of discipline. So fear of change is one. Fourth, you worry about the impression you're making or about to make. In Buddhism, they say freedom finds a man or woman the moment they don't care about the impression they're making or the impression they're about to make. What holds people back sometimes is you're afraid that you're going to hurt others' feelings, or you're afraid you're going to look stupid. You rather lose and look good than win and look bad. So that also can lead to failure. When you worry about the impression you're about to make and you'd rather fail and look good than to win and look bad. Number 5, you worry about dying too much. Now this one is tricky. And sometimes it can be worded or viewed in different ways. But I know someone who they read the news. They watch the news. They read these newspapers and all this gloom and doom, which is all the media promotes. They get so caught up in that they stop trying. They stop going for their goals. They stop dreaming. They stop hoping. And they look at me and go, the world's going to end anyway, so why bother? So they give up and they don't realize that until the world ends or until your day comes, you still have to be accountable for your time and you shouldn't waste it. So they give up and that leads to failure. When you're so worried about dying and the world ending and all this pessimism that you don't take action. Number 6, you think your life is destined to be what it is. What I mean by that, some people are in certain predicaments or situations in their lives where they feel like this is what I was meant to be. Good example, if you grew up in a small town, your dad worked a 9-to-5 desk job, and your mom worked a 9-to-5 desk job, and everyone in your family does just get up in the morning, go to work, come home from work, kick back, watch TV, and you've watched this cycle throughout your family for years. How dare you think that you can be more than that? That some people get locked in that mindset. No, well, those things only happen for special people. Only special people become millionaires. Only special people become supermodels. Only special people become entrepreneurs. Only special people become doctors and brain surgeons and inventors. They believe that this is what it is for them, what they see before their 2 eyes. So if you think your life is destined to be what it is, that can lead to failure. Number 7, you're far into your career and you're established. For some people, they've spent so many years working at one career, and once they get established in that, they feel once they get a new idea or new inspiration, they become afraid to pursue it, or they sometimes think that, well, I'm established in this career, I did this, there's no way that I can do that. They become so convinced that what they've been doing all this time, because they're so good at that it's impossible for them to learn something new and do something new. And they get stuck, or they don't try. Number 8, you're afraid to lose everything and start over. Similar to fear of change, but not quite. It's different. The person may not fear change, but they don't want to lose everything and start over. Good example. Sometimes you can be in a marriage where the two of you have acquired a lot together. The situation may become toxic. Not even just a marriage, even a business relationship. You can be in one for a long time and you realize that it's toxic or it's not working, but because you've been working with this person for so long and it's consistent, you don't want to, you know that you can start over, but you don't want to lose everything. Because, once you separate from the relationship, you have to let go of some things and start over. So some people don't because of that reason. They'd rather stay in the current situation because they don't want to lose everything and start over. Number 9, you think your best years are behind you. Colonel Sanders, who started KFC, was 65 years old, and he was an entrepreneur before that, but it wasn't until he turned 65 that he came up with his recipe for Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC. So a lot of people think that once they turn a certain age, and it's unfortunate, people usually when they get in their late 20s, early 30s, anytime around that age and above, people start to think that their best years are behind them. And they think that, okay, so I've wasted my youth. No, you can't. You can go online and do a search for people who were successful after 40, successful after 50. There is no age limit on that. Death is the age limit. You have to continue. When you have an idea, it doesn't matter how late it is, you have to find the inspiration and find the resources to get your head in the game so that you can win. Number 10, you're confused or apprehensive about your dreams or your goals. What does that mean? You're confused or apprehensive, meaning that you're not sure. You're not sure exactly what you want to do. You may have a few things. You could be a jack of all trades, master of none. Or you may desire things that conflict. All right? Good example is someone may want to be an educator or a great presenter on positive subjects, but they know that they like to go out and hang out and do things that just totally contradict that. That creates confusion. That can hinder you from focusing on your goal because you know that there's a part of you that does not agree with that you wish to pursue. Also, confused and apprehensive can be you just don't. It could be something that you've never seen done or you rarely saw done before, and you just don't believe. You just worry how that's going to impact others, or is it possible, or you're just not sure of it. And what do I mean by that? Once again, confused or apprehensive could simply be you're not sure of what you want to do. You may have several things on the table that you want to pursue and you're just not sure. Or you could have one thing but you're still not sure of it. It's not that you don't believe you can do it. It's just you're not sure of if you should pursue that or not. To clarify that, to just put some clarity between that or distinction between that and number 1 where you don't believe it. Confused or apprehensive doesn't necessarily mean you don't believe in your idea. It's you're confused or apprehensive about should you pursue it or not. So in that case, I would say the solution is pick one thing or give yourself a timetable and give it your all during that timetable so that you have no regrets. So to recap, 10 reasons why people fail. You don't believe it. Others convince you to do something else. You fear change. You worry about the impression you're making. You worry about dying too much. You think your life is destined to be what it is. You're far into your current career and established. You're afraid to lose everything and start over. You think your best years are behind you. Or you're confused or apprehensive about what you want to do. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a good one. Happy New Year.